Hello, everybody. Is everybody on the screen?
I'll be there.
All right, anyway. Hello, and welcome to the Drexel Freethought Society podcast. We are the only recognized secular organization at Drexel University. The Drexel Freethought Society's mission is to establish and support a secular community at Drexel University for atheists, agnostics, humanists, and especially free thinkers. The DFS is dedicated to encouraging free thought and defending science, logic, reason, while discouraging or responding to harmful personal beliefs forced on others. Every week we have a formal podcast, but we also have other meetings to view videos, have talks, and host various speakers from around the Philadelphia area and wherever else we hear speakers from. This is an interactive show. That's why I have the computer. So please email questions or comments to drexfreethought@gmail.com or call us at our Google line, 267-702-0729. We probably won't get to the calls on the show. We haven't rigged that up yet, but please email us. Or you can actually comment in the chat window. Okay. We can also be found on our website, drexelfreethought.org, our Twitter, Drexel Freethought, and we're on Facebook if you search for Drexel Freethought Society. I am David McDevitt, the president of Drexel Freethought Society, and this week's topic is submission.
Interesting.
And can you tilt it that way? Or the other way?
Why?
That way we're more centered.
Okay.
Whatever. I thought we were centered the first time.
Well, no, I'm the center, so I go there.
Fine.
Introduce yourself, easy.
I'm Dante Henson, the Vice President of Drexel Freethought Society.
And I'm Horatio, the unofficial de facto treasurer of the Freethought
Sure.
Society. And unfortunately, our enforcer isn't here at the moment.
He's not the enforcer.
I'm not the enforcer, I guess.
He's also the de facto enforcer. Whatever that means.
I wear many hats.
Okay.
And Sam.
We have a disembodied voice.
Yes, the disembodied voice today is Sam.
Yes.
Hello, Sam.
We don't know where our female disembodied voice is. Who oddly came on camera last week.
Oh.
Maybe she's on the way out.
Anywho, let's just jump right into the topic. We're doing submission this week. Should we do what we normally do and just kind of define what we all think about submission?
Sure.
Do you want to start us off?
Sure. All right. Submission. I'm on camera anymore. Submission is, I guess, sacrificing your will to go with the will of someone else. Maybe.
Remember, you have to go with that. Anything to add about this?
I mean, my definition would be pretty similar, actually. Just releasing your will, letting others impose their will upon you. It could be forced, or it could be very willful. That you, I know that sounds kind of funny. You can.
You willfully give your will away?
Yep, you willfully give your will away. Like,
and now the guy's name is William, that's going to give you more.
Willfully give your will away. There you go.
William willfully gave his will away. We're writing his will to will. I'm sorry. We've already lost like 5 people.
His definition is pretty spot on.
Alright.
That doesn't that.
Thank you. Every one of these definitions has will involved in it. What do we mean by will?
One's own drive, their own. Let me see. I'm trying to find a good word for it. It's basically the person themselves. They're not acting autonomously. They're acting upon. I'm trying not to use the word to define the word. They're acting upon themselves. No one else is making them do anything.
So they're making their own decisions?
Pretty much, yes.
Alright, so that is having will. So giving your will away would pretty much be allowing other people to make decisions for you.
I mean, it could be
for your well-being, or just...
It could be based on thought. It could be based on, like I'm exerting my will now. This is what I want to do. There's no puppet string in my arm. No one controlling me. But it can also be a mental thing. Sure, you can have control of this all you want, but you know, you can have other people influence how you think. You know, remember that whole sheep mentality thing you were talking about a while back? I think will plays a big part in that, and in that you're just like, I'm just going to be a blank slate today. I'm not going to think for myself. I'm going to let somebody else do the thinking for me, and no matter what it is, I'm going to follow it all.
But that seems to have, I don't know, whenever I thought of submission, it does seem willful, but it seems much more subtle than that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't think people actually say, that's right. I love these sort of scenarios. It's like, I woke up today, I decided to wear my beige sweater, have a bowl full of Cheerios, and give my will away.
I do that all the time.
Maybe people think that way. I mean, one has to wonder, are most people even aware of that they're
Like, aware of their autonomy.
I mean, are they aware that they're even submitting?
That's the thing I'm trying to say. Like, I'm pretty sure you have to willingly actually do it. Like, this is weird. It's like subconsciously doing something willfully. I guess I'm trying to say, like...
You can't subconsciously do something that is willing. Like, it has to be conscious in order for it to be...
Just rather disembodied voice who's
in order for that action to be something that you're like, okay, I am...
Speak louder.
I haven't eaten in like, I don't know how many hours or food, so
Should I push this food close to you?
I can't eat right now, I'm fasting.
Should I push you closer to you?
Yes, I will take it out, throw it away.
That's not very nice. I'll pay for that.
Well, then don't put it in my face.
I'm trying to feed you.
But I can't eat right now.
You can be the guinea pig for will.
Actually, this is an interesting. You'll probably come up later. The topic today is submission. So, anyway, before we continue, can you introduce yourself to people?
Yeah, I'm Asa. I'm the disembodied voice usually, but I've been on camera for the last couple of weeks.
So, she's actually produced a body, so now she's noticed that's the body.
I mean, I'm pretty sure it's going to disappear soon again. So right on
Actually,
it.
if you lean back slightly, you'll disappear. Yep, there you go. You figured your chest is kind of...
Yeah.
That's the only part.
Jeez, okay. Be nice today.
I was trying to address it.
Okay.
I
think that's the only part of me that's really necessary, right? That's the only thing that makes me see it anyway.
It's guys because you're just so unattractive otherwise.
Submission.
Am I?
This is a well
I'm in a no-win situation right now, so guys.
You realize none of us are talking, right?
Well, John was back, but
I will say, I'm pretty sure you're the most attractive person at this table. If you cut out my thumb.
No, I think including you too.
Oh. That could be right here.
I'm a bit of a narcissist, I can't say.
Anyway.
Submission says, so that would mean if you're a narcissist, you don't submit to anyone else's. Well,
You wouldn't submit to anyone
What do I
else's.
have to submit to?
It's that you wouldn't submit to their opinion.
yeah.
So, well, that would also just be not really having a high ego, but just having a high self-esteem.
So would agree
They-
to something means submission.
I think yes. It's to a degree. I consider that an acceptable submission.
Just because you're agreeing to something doesn't mean you're submitting to it. Like, I could agree to, I could be, okay, there's more than one deity out there. All right, but that doesn't mean I'm submitting to anything.
No, this is, I think to describe that would just say what's the opposite of submitting, and I think that would be defined. So if you're not actively fighting the thing that you're arguing about, then you're submitting.
What if you don't care either way? Like, you're not
Then you're in the neutral position.
So that's apathy.
Yeah, you're doing nothing.
Yeah, exactly. But the way that you were stating it, you're like, if you're not defined, then you're automatically submitting. So I'm saying, like, it's not always that you're doing
Oh, I
that.
see.
So there's degrees of it, because like it seems, so they're both like extremes on some spectrum, correct?
Yeah, like, I'm going to bring religion in. It's like some people are very religious, they're very submissive to, the Bible, the Quran, the Torah, whatever you follow. The flying spaghetti monster, I don't know.
Oh yeah.
There actually are people that are.
Yeah, like they're like, okay, we will follow this to the T. Like, we are going to follow this exactly as it's written, we're going to do this. Then you have people at the other end of the spectrum that are like, oh, we don't believe in any of that crap, like, we don't believe in anything. And then you have some people that are like, oh, well, I believe in some aspect of religion, but then I believe in some aspect of, just like karma or like just being a good person, just in general. I don't have to follow religion in order to be a good person.
So I would like to say that the opposite end of the spectrum doesn't necessarily mean they believe in nothing.
Well, I was looking for a part of religion.
Well, yeah,
Just
like,
religion. Like,
I'm probably the least religious person you'll find, but I still believe in lots of stuff.
No, like, I meant, like, as in monotheistic religion, like, that's the perspective that I was taking. You have people at one end that are Christian, Jewish, Muslim, whatever they are. They follow the one monotheistic religion religiously. Like, they follow it to the T. Like, they follow it.
Alright, okay, now let's do that.
So there's degrees of submission, like how you have what some people call hardcore Christians or hardcore Muslims, where they follow that book to a T. Like nothing in there is exempt. If it says stone homosexuals, I'm going to stone homosexuals. And then you're talking about the other guys who consider themselves a Muslim, Christian, or any other religion, where they sort of take certain parts of their scripture. And they're like, I like this. It's really good. Love thy neighbor, always love your family, all this stuff. But I'm not going to stone homosexuals. I'm not going to, summon bears and kill kids and make fun of my head or any other thing like that.
That's an actual story.
What?
There's a bunch of kids where they made fun of a priest. It's one of the biblical stories. So God summoned 2 she-bears to rip the children apart.
What book was this then?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Wow, that is
Sorry.
extreme.
What? Yeah. I'm gonna have to Google that one.
It's like there's also the classic one, like a dude was gathering sticks upon the Sabbath, so he stoned to death.
Yeah, I remember that one.
But what if you need a firewood?
Stoned to death.
Can't do any work.
You can't. If you actually read the list of things you're not allowed to do on the Sabbath, you basically have to stand still.
But that's still doing something. You're still breathing. You're still respiring.
Yeah, you're allowed to do those things. It's like you're not allowed to destroy something. You're not allowed to destroy something for the purpose of building something. You're not allowed to burn anything. You're not allowed to, like...
2 Kings, 2:23, 2:24. Bears mowing, what, 42 the youth?
Because they made fun of the priest.
Yep.
I do that all the time. I don't think any bear has attacked me yet.
But people who
It's like how do you explain a missing arm?
But people who fully submit to those scriptures totally believe in that. And like, God says that's bad, so we should definitely go along with it.
I mean, there are certain things that, like, these books are written a while back. So science has made a lot of progress. So, there's some things that I do believe, like, okay, it's in the book, like, alright, we should follow it. But there are other things I'm like, science has come a very, very, very long way. I don't think I need to, like the whole faith healing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'd be like, okay, have faith, but go to a doctor. Please go to a doctor. Like, if you have some really weird disease and you need help, get it. Like, I don't believe in faith healing. I do believe that, having faith does help people. Like, some people are like, oh, well, this is an extra cushion for me. It helps me get along.
Mm-hmm.
Like, a lot of chemotherapy patients, they're like, the faith helps them, like, to get through it.
Nah.
But they're also doing the chemotherapy. Yeah. The doctor's prescribing them stuff.
Yeah.
Do that.
Which also makes me wonder, as far as like the scope of religion, in order to be considered a Muslim, a Christian, a pagan, what say you, do you have to fully submit to that God or that scripture? Like, do you have to follow
it? It depends on who you ask.
No.
Yeah, well,
no. So you can omit certain things in the Bible that you don't want to do and still be considered a Christian.
It depends and it depends on which parts of the Bible you actually read, or whichever book you actually read. There is the thing where it's like, the only thing that you need to do to be a Christian is believe that Jesus is your Savior. But then Jesus himself says, yeah, basically follow everything that's ever in the Bible. So.
did he say that himself?
14 times. Well, 7 times.
Because I don't know a whole lot about the Bible.
It's little things like, it's like, I came here not to I forget what the actual word, like dissuade what the Bible says. I came here to fulfill it. There's like every letter of the word to be followed.
The Bible was written after he like passed on.
Yeah, about 80 years was the first book, but then most of it was written like 200 years.
So, I'm saying like, do we necessarily know that what he said got exactly transcribed?
We completely sure that the duty existed.
I'm pretty sure it existed.
He could have.
No,
I'd be fine saying he did, but
there's
there's
a lot
not.
of documentaries on like PBS and Nova and all those are like,
There.
there's that he probably did exist. But he was
The
not.
sources they use are basically all come back to the Bible, and you can't use the Bible to support itself.
So even being a member of these religions or belief systems seem to be subjective, as far as like how much of your will, how much you're submitting, considers you to be a part of that group. I just find it kind of
It's true. Yeah, I kind of see it as it's like, if I'm just going to use AA as an example, it's like, I think it's kind of a prerequisite for many religious beliefs to pretty much submit to it. To submit to the people that are the head of the religion, and or even just submit to the God figure himself. You guys know like the first like 5 steps of AA? Yeah. It's like the first one is you have to admit you are powerless to solve this problem and submit yourself to a higher power. That's like the first one.
I thought that would come like later on.
Then like there's that requirement that you have to.
Yeah. And it's a higher power of your choice.
Okay.
But throughout the actual.
But if you don't believe in a higher power, then you're screwed. You're gonna be an alcoholic forever.
That's why I don't like AA. There's a lot of ones that are very secular, that are more about, you can handle this.
Yeah, like,
but
drugs, I feel like drugs and alcohol, like, maybe drugs not as much, like, you become dependent on them, like, very much. Like,
alcoholism is just as bad.
Well,
just as bad. You won't necessarily die.
No, I feel like alcohol is something that's a little bit easier to get over because you don't necessarily develop a physical dependence on it.
You can in certain cases,
I'm not entirely sure.
So withdrawal symptoms aren't as severe as something like heroin or cocaine, but
heroin and cocaine you can die from withdrawal.
Like but typically like people with alcohol who go through withdrawal symptoms, you'll see them a lot of times get like shakes and things like that.
But like heroin, you're curled up in a ball and it's unbearable pain.
You're like sweating.
You basically have like all the symptoms of all of your ribs exploding at once.
Interesting way to describe it.
I would think that's what it's like. I don't do
from experience, or?
I don't do any drugs.
The only reason I know that is because
the Drexel Freethought Society does not advocate recreational drug use.
I know that from a friend of the family he's pretty alcoholic. He was a barber, so it essentially got to the point where he drank so often where he couldn't cut hair unless he had a drink because his hands were just shaking. Yeah.
Wait, what was Dante's lesson? Oh, wait, I was the one talking. I'm just using that as an example because it seems like a lot of religions basically. I love the way that I forget exactly if you phrased it this way, but it's like a lot of religion's job is creating a disease and then offering you the cure. So it's kind of like Christianity's classic one is sin. It's like they create the idea of sin, and then they say salvation is through us. So you have to be dependent on us to get rid of it. Yeah, exactly.
Like you were born in sin or whatever, and like the only way
you're born sick, and yeah. There's another one that was like you're born as if shot out of a cannon into like a wall of adversity. That was fiction, but I don't know, I just like that phrase.
So is there ever a time where submission? Is there ever a time where submission is actually a good thing? Like the word submission usually has a bad connotation, especially when it comes to feminism. It gets really bad.
Before we go down that, the simple answer to your question is the time where submission is usually considered good was the law enforcement.
That's the state government.
Yeah, like government.
To an extent.
But it depends on whose point of view. Because that's like
to a person who's actively getting arrested, submitting is always good.
Yeah.
Then you get, because that's where resisting arrest comes in play. And then
But resisting arrest can be so far as you can instantly drop to the ground when he approached you.
Yeah.
Like, submission, yeah, but I mean, like, I don't
Good as that.
know. There was a thing where it was the Pope. I forget, this was like right after the huge surge in the molestation cases. And he stepped out of his plane when he was visiting the U.S., I believe. I forget exactly where he was visiting. And he announced, the first thing out of his mouth was, submission to the doctrine of the church is the foundation of your faith. So that is his declaration to all Catholics.
Okay, like, I
It has nothing to do with Jesus' message or the golden rule, and he didn't feel like apologizing for all the molestation.
Yeah.
But that's the issue I have. Is I think it's written into most religions that you have to submit to something.
Yeah, that's probably true. Like, for certain reasons,
This is where the whole like sheeple mentality comes from.
well,
religion essentially involves submitting to, I would agree with that. Like, you would say, if you're going to be part of religion, part of that is identify that these are rules I should live by, and you agree to follow them. That's being part of
But it seems like you, as an example of a more enlightened Christian, you don't blindly follow it.
No, like I said, like part of what an aspect I think is important to religion is being able to come to your own conclusion about it. Like, you have to identify.
You're not a sheep.
Yeah, you can't. It doesn't work. I feel like if you're just a sheep in terms of I'll go on the example of like child indoctrination. Like, I grew up in the church essentially, so my parents were both Christians while I was a Christian, and eventually I decided to become baptized myself. But when that time came around for me to be baptized, I decided to really, really sit down and think about what happens to us. Like, what rules do I feel would be necessary to be followed? And why? Not. If you're Catholic, they try and baptize you when you're a kid. But I'm a member of the Church of Christ, so that it's voluntary.
Within the Church of Christ.
It's typically.
So those like Latter-day Saints?
I'm not sure. We don't usually identify with anything like that. So usually the basis of all of it is just the New Testament. Like, the way we run our services is taken strictly from the New Testament. And
So it's significantly nicer.
yeah. So personally, I feel that a lot of the stuff in the Old Testament can be discarded because of the idea behind Jesus coming is that it's a whole establishing a new covenant essentially. So it's a new, so it's a new set of rules.
I would really recommend that you read the Jefferson Bible.
Which one's that?
It's, Thomas Jefferson. He was a deist of sorts, but he wasn't huge into the God idea. But he was pretty sure he was deist anyway. He took out all the divinity and miracles of Jesus, of the New Testament, and wrote a new book that was basically the moral teachings of Jesus of Nazareth. So it's pretty much like all the good lessons with like magic taken out.
I actually read that. Part of
Yeah?
it.
I haven't even seen it. How does it? It sounds wonderful. I mean, a lot of the lessons are actually pretty good.
I read part of it, and like it was one class in high school because my teacher was like very, very fond of this idea. So I read parts of it, like, I don't know. I feel like it was okay. I'm not really into the whole religious book and stuff.
I mean, the whole point of this book was basically
Take
like,
some stuff out of it, but
so
like,
it was just to like be like, there are good lessons in the Bible, and here they are, with everything else taken away.
but like, according to some people, it wasn't just the Bible. Like, he also read the Quran and took stuff out of it too.
Oh, all right.
That's what I've heard.
So you recommend it. It's not very long.
I would think that's probably good at some point.
Because I think it would be something you'd be interested in. Because it seems like you're going in that general direction anyway. I think I'm overstepping.
It's I feel a lot of Christianity is really at its core is just a sense of morality. Like I really only think there's two. Like all the Ten Commandments stuff doesn't matter. So it's like 2 rules. Love God and then love your neighbor, which is the golden rule. That's the second one. So more or less everything else kind of falls into that second rule in terms of how you act around other people.
I think it's really like I'm gonna keep like coaching you until you're.
Yeah, it does. It's different. There's like and as you dissect things, like there's different words used for love that kind of got translated together. Like that's
Sure.
like from Greek, I think they have like 9
So
ways to describe love or something like that.
there's so many.
Yeah.
It's like love yourself, love your sister, love
Yeah.
your mother.
So,
Like all different.
the idea of love your neighbor is kind of like mutual sort of respect.
Yeah.
It's not
So I was like, I don't love my neighbors.
It's not
I
like,
do not love
it's like
them.
I'm not gonna go kiss my neighbor. Essentially.
Oh, I'm doing it wrong.
So another example of submission when it may be a good thing. Somebody mentioned children earlier. Well, somebody mentioned child indoctrination. I mentioned
Yeah.
child indoctrination. Being a child doesn't mean to be a parent. And then sort of submission.
I think that's actually the really subtle submission I was trying to talk about earlier. Because I don't think kids actually, like I said before, put on their beige sweater and a bowl of Cheerios and submit to everything their parents are saying.
Yeah.
No, they really don't.
I think how that works is the kids at some point. It usually takes a little while. They eventually realize that the advice their parents give them, if the advice their parents give them is probably good.
It's probably good or
No, it's
Yeah.
8, at the top line, age 8 you start acting out, all the way up until your teens, and then when you're like 30 years old, oh, my parents were right.
Okay, it didn't just click for me until I was like.
You see, I grew up so bloody fast. I basically agreed to them, and my dad was saying when I was like 14.
Well, it depends. Like, I've always like considered what my parents would say. I would weigh their opinions, and your dad would agree with them because I feel like, you know, they know more than I do. They're older than I am. They've experienced more. I should definitely take their opinions into consideration. My brother, on the other hand, is one of the most defiant children I've ever met. He has to go against everything my parents say. You're wrong. It's crazy. So I think it just depends on the person. Like, if they're willing to listen and try to weigh in on their parents' opinion.
I was the youngest of 3 kids, and I basically learned from a really young age, if I stuck with the rules, then that means I would always be right. Because the rules if I followed the rules of the house, that means I'm always right.
In the context of who
Yeah.
made the rules, of course.
Yeah, so I basically, because I was the youngest, I would never get my way. So I basically weaseled my way into always being right. It's like I went like 8 years with never being punished, ever, for anything. Because I never broke any rules.
Yeah,
I knew it all. I knew it all.
After only went 8 weeks.
It was then, like, there was one day when my dad just said, "David, you are not allowed to do that." And I was like, "What, really? But I'm David, right?" Dad, it's David talking. It's like I always get my way because I always follow the rules. And then he's like, "No, I know this is the wrong thing to do." And I'm like,
What were you doing?
"All right." Actually, this example, it makes sense, and I don't know. In hindsight, it still was silly. It was okay. So I was. What?
You were burning something, weren't you?
Oh no, I'm left.
Oh,
I just had to go on the back patio that was made of stone and have a bucket of water.
Okay.
I like burning things as a kid.
so did I still do.
Anyway,
pyro here?
no, like the specific example, it was basically spending the night at a friend's house, and the friend was a girl, and the other people there were 2 other girls.
Yeah, that's probably not right.
No, but it was one of those situations where it's like, all right, one of them is dating my best friend. The other one is basically my sister. And then the other one was someone I was actually mildly interested in. So it's like, I wouldn't even attempt, even if I was that kind of person, I wouldn't attempt to do anything. Because I would ruin extremely good relationships that are continuing on to this day. And
How old were you?
I was like 17.
In retrospect, that was probably misguided thought.
No, it wasn't.
The other 2 probably would have helped you out with therapy.
Yeah.
No. And also, no, you see, like, it was the girl's house. It was like her mom's boyfriend was there. If I even thought about doing something, you could literally break me over his name.
Oh, that sounds wondrous.
Sounds like submission.
Oh, man.
So, like, and I was explaining all this to my dad.
Personal anecdote.
No, I was even explaining this to my dad, like, on the phone. It's like, seriously, I mean, There's this thing deliver. And he's like, David, it's a bad idea. Come home. I was like, all right. I'm sorry, guys. I've got to go home.
I'm 17 years old.
Submission.
No, in hindsight, I still thought I was right, but I still followed my dad.
I feel like it's better to, like, just do what your parents say rather than... I hate arguments, like, unless it's, like, I hate trivial arguments, but I, like, avoid big arguments at all costs. Like, I hate having arguments.
I love arguments.
I mean, unless
Depends on the kind of argument. Is it the shouting across the table argument, or is it...
No, I love those because I never shout.
he just uses his voice.
No, like, I don't, no. No, when people are actually yelling at me, I'm just like, all right. Go on. Are you tired yet? It makes me so angry. It's wonderful. The only times I actually yell is when I actually have to speak over people. And then it's not so much yelling, it's more like bellowing and knocking them over.
Let's hop back on the submission during.
Yeah, go right to the,
So far, good kind of submission is children listening to their parents, and
Like, I would still argue that's unnecessarily good.
It largely depends on your parents.
And
your parents are horrible assholes.
And as far as like society is concerned, law enforcement, make sure you're not resisting arrest, following the rules within the society.
Well, even then, that's not necessarily good. Let's think about the Congo. We don't want to follow what the people in the Congo tell you to do.
What do they tell you to do?
Usually rape your family.
What?
They'll either murder or rape your family in front of you.
Yeah.
And then you'll become a sex slave.
Yeah, that's how you know.
The Congo, no, like, I'm not, the
No,
Congo is
I
a
mean,
horrifying
it
thing.
happens, like,
We're not going to use
it happens in
I'm so sorry. for
But I'm
the
pretty
people.
sure that I'm going to listen to the police
That's
and
what
not
happens.
run around naked on the street or anything crazy like that. So, in a way, I am submitting because I am listening to a higher power, unless of course around that. A higher power. I'm not going out and murdering people or running around acting like a complete animal.
You're
No.
well,
But
Only in the mind.
we was going to hit on that really nasty subject where submit is
Feminism.
used a lot. Feminism. And, I mean, if Josh was here right now, he'd flip over.
no, we have to admit that he is strictly talking about like the second wave of feminism. Or something.
Yeah. The first, the wave of feminism that advocated women voting and women working, I have no problem with that. You can.
I don't like new feminism.
What's the second wave of feminism?
Yeah.
Well, there was supposed to be a first one that was before the 1960s. Right? Don't
Yeah, there's one where it's like right to vote and there's like the
Yeah.
right to work,
Yeah.
and now it's men should be our footstools.
Yeah. The current wave
That's
of
like the new
feminism
wave of
now.
feminism. It's lower men so women can rise up.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And I think that's just silly.
What's
It's like this is the girl as far as
It's
I
not
can
silly.
tell.
It's dangerous.
And I respect you as an individual. You seem intelligent.
Now, I respect intelligent people who have an intelligent conversation and will not say retarded stuff that, but I don't believe that.
Yeah, like men should be eliminated.
So what is
No!
what is the argument for lowering men?
Ooh, pick me.
Yes, you.
David.
David is a men's right next to us.
What men's rights?
What is it?
MRA.
Alright, so simultaneously, it is men's fault that women are in the position they are. And at the same time, it's so backwards. Men are responsible for both the positives and the negatives for women.
Explain more.
Yeah, explain the positives and negatives. Like, what do you mean?
There's the traditional glass ceiling.
Okay.
Like men create a structure in which women cannot move up in whatever position.
I've been president of so many organizations, I lost count.
So how?
Yeah, like that's
That's a negative. So what is the positive then that men are responsible for?
It's called the patriarchy. It's like anything that you can possibly mention is because the patriarchy has developed a system in which like only men can get certain things and only women can get other things.
Like,
I can't think of a specific example.
I know.
There's like, there was a recent thing in the atheist community, well it's old now, since it was like 4 or 5 months ago, but it was like this girl was in an elevator at an atheist rally party thingy, and a guy asked her, like, what was it, like, would you like to go up to my room and have coffee? Like, would you like to come over for coffee? And she took this as, like, a sexist, misogynist, awful thing for anyone ever to say. It was, like, effectively, she said that he only saw her as a sex symbol.
Well,
It exploded into this enormous thing.
Everything is sexist.
Run it down.
I agree with they saying that a lot of guys view women as sex symbols.
No, that's
I
not
think that's horrible.
interesting. A lot of women see men as sex symbols.
Do that.
People see
people as sex symbols.
Yeah.
No, like I'm saying that her reasoning for this was just so backwards, and it all basically boiled down to men create situations that are inherently sexist towards women. So like,
After they go for coffee, she could have said no and gone on with her life.
she did, and then he's like, oh, okay.
It's not like he's saying, oh, you better come to my room or I'll kill you or something like
So it's
that.
not even like, I would totally understand if it's like, hey, want to go up to my room and have sex? And it's just like, huh, no thank you.
I would recommend this. Everybody look up Andrea Dworkin. It's Dworkin. It's probably one of the most vile and disgusting feminists that have ever walked this earth.
I have so many more awful feminists.
Just a man wanting sex from a woman is considered rape.
Oh, is that the rapeless lady?
Really?
Everything that a man does is inherently evil and sexist.
No, this lady made she's who I think you're talking about, she made a list of things that, if you follow any of these things in this list, then you support rape culture.
I think it was Andrea Dworkin.
And one of them is like, if you have ever thought about a woman in a sexual way.
Yeah.
People do that all the
Then
time.
you support
rape.
No, here's two that are like right after each other. It's hilarious. If you compliment a woman's appearance, or if you don't compliment a woman's appearance, then you support rape culture.
What?
So not only is just like following our biological urges considered rape, like it's not like in terms.
If you say, okay, you're not a girl, I'll turn over here. If I say, you look lovely today, I support rape culture.
Okay.
If I don't say that you look lovely today, I also support rape culture.
So.
No, that is just completely off.
What is
not.
I watched this video that was basically just this guy reading off this list. It's hilarious. Anyway, there's also the case where there was this lady who was, do you know the thing in, I think it was in Germany, where, okay, so this guy breaks into this woman's convenience store, and then he tries to rob her. She then you'll want to get into this. She subdues him, which is like awesome. You stop the burglary. Then she tied him up in her basement and made him her sex slave for 2 weeks, feeding him nothing but water and Viagra.
Yeah, I remember that.
And she is you see, she is heralded as a feminist like goddess.
Oh yeah.
For doing that.
She's a hero.
She is a hero.
That is disgusting.
If you reverse the roles, then it would be the most evil man in existence.
Yeah.
That is disgusting. Like,
Yeah. There's another case that was actually, I think it was The View. Like, The View is evil.
I watch it all the time.
No, here's what happened. Alright? Actually, it's not The View. It's like another show that's basically like the British equivalent of The View.
Yeah, I forgot the name of it.
I forget what it's
I
called.
like the view. I like it.
I said the view.
No, like, this one show did. Alright, so here's another story. This guy wanted to divorce his wife.
Okay.
Alright, so it happens. People get divorced all the time. She responds by cutting off his genitals and pushing them down the garbage disposal.
Wow.
Oh my.
Is that the one where?
And she is heralded as a hero. And these people on this show that's basically The View, were like all of them were cheering. A crowd of women were cheering.
Osborne.
No, and this entire thing was basically on this video I was saying that it's only sexist when men do it. And this is what all of these stories are coming back to. Is pretty much the idea that men have to submit to women. or they're being sexist. It was on top of
That is a strange argument, because it's the idea of like
this is
only,
this is how it's being
the
defended.
idea that only men can be sexist to women is sort of parallel to only white people can be racist, kind of. It's drawn from that same argument that like they're targeting the minority victim pool.
Mm.
There was a time where, and it's still going on, where it's like only black men can rape white women.
Yeah.
Like that's still a thing, which is wrong. It's very, very wrong. But that's very pervasive.
Yeah.
Especially like 40 years ago, it was extremely.
Like one common argument, and this goes into feminism and the dating scene, is like a lot of men have a negative view. A lot of American men have a negative view on American women. So men with money tend to go to other countries because they feel as if the women over, like say Japan, Korea, so are more quote unquote submissive. But how they define submissive is more of around the lines of she won't argue with me every chance she gets. You know, she actually appreciates her man, stuff like that. And the feminists go, no, you just want a woman that's going to be your sex slave and listen to everything that you have to say. Well, and so that's when we have this.
Yeah, I want to say somebody to listen to what I say.
That argument happens a lot too in terms of just like black women.
Yeah, oh yeah, he had the black woman versus white woman argument. And you know, and then the angry black women go, you black men just want a white woman because they're more submissive, and you want a sex slave, and the black men are like, no, I just want somebody that's not going to argue with me all the time. So very, like I think submissive is being used in a different connotation as more. I think it's being replaced with the word placid. It should be, like placid should be a better word than submissive, because submission tends to have that negative connotation. I would say more placid, more, what's another word? More calm, relaxed. I think that's what a lot of these men are actually looking for. They're not looking for a woman that can just say, here, you know, make me a sandwich and then go down on me. You know? Like, I don't think that's what the majority are looking for, but you have that whole word submission being thrown around.
Well, I agree.
But sometimes I'm looking for exactly that.
And you see, like, if we go back to the relationship conversation, I don't see anything wrong with that if both parties are consenting.
If they're consenting, I don't see wrong with it either. If the woman wants to make sandwiches and she wants to go down on the guy and she wants to listen to him, go ahead. You know, if he's not forcing her to do it and she's...
And now this comes back to, is that willful submission? If you're completely consenting to an action, can it be called submission?
Yeah, because you're completely consenting. You're not arguing with anything.
You're in compliance with it.
That goes back to my original comment. The opposite of submission is defiance.
But,
I mean, is it though, or they just
only in that sense. Like, there's no spectrum here. Like, either you're gonna do it, you're gonna make the sandwich, and you're gonna do the action, or you're not gonna do it.
Or it could be like we both make sandwiches and go down on each other.
I like that better.
So would it be submission to one another?
I guess what it is that would be strange.
So if submission to one another would just be agreeing.
What? It's like I'm an egalitarian when it comes to sandwich making.
Well, I mean, if you make a good sandwich, by all means.
Hey, I make fantastic sandwiches.
Yeah, I make my own.
It was fantastic as roast beef on Swiss on Jewish rye bread.
I hate rye bread.
If you have Jewish rye bread.
What's Jewish rye bread?
I have no idea what the difference is, but it's delicious.
You have to buy from a bakery like
Jewelry.
You actually just say Jew?
Yes, you did. Alright.
Alright, so the line for the day
that's right, you said that Greg Workin was born to a secular Jewish community.
If we're going back to like characteristics, if we go to religious communities, there is a huge thing about people go. I'm going to go right to the extreme and go to the Westboro Baptist Church.
Oh God!
If you guys recall from the few of you that were actually at the Nate Phelps talk, a huge thing about his family was like submission. the Fred Phelps shaved his wife's hair for the sole purpose of saying that you are mine and I can do with you what I want. And he had the same view about his children. It's like, you obey me because you are my children.
You are my property.
Yeah. And if you read into the old parts of the Old Testament, children are property. Like, there's the whole thing of like, if your daughter is raped, you have to pay the father like some amount of shekels because of the damage of property. The same thing happens if the wife miscarries, then it's her fault for damaging the husband's property because the child that wasn't
The child was just his. She had no part in doing it. She didn't carry that thing for 9 months.
No, she was the vessel by which his child was born.
Yeah, he did it all by himself. He
That is what it was believed. That was what was believed for so long.
I'm glad I live in the modern age. If I lived in the old age.
Well, if you lived in those ages,
You wouldn't be able to say anything.
yeah.
Well, good thing I can't talk about it.
Wouldn't know any better.
They see, I'm a tall white male. There's basically no period in time where I'm not comfortable. I'm sorry.
So, it depends on where and when.
Where's
Still does.
Aren't you Irish?
Yeah.
People like Irish.
I'm part Irish.
But I'm also, like, I sound like
Exactly.
Scandinavian English.
Hey,
I don't know the British accent.
I would spend like 3 days in the forest just perfecting British accent.
that drives the point home right there. That book.
Oh my god, I'm touching your screen. I'm so used to being able to do this on my
Like, I want to know what they exactly mean by that.
By what?
Why submit to your husband?
Dude, that is exactly, it was a thing. I'll read this at some point. We don't have too much time left.
I feel like husbands submit to their wives also. Like, they agree to do a lot of things that they say. Like,
Well, like, I was going to go to like various religious communities. There is like the Jewish community where, although a mother is seen a lot as like the head of the
It
household,
was,
the man is still,
they
it
do.
was,
Yeah.
what was it?
That patriarchy.
I remember saying wives submit to your husbands. I remember saying wives respect your husbands and husbands love your wives.
I've seen all three, actually, in
This is-
different translations.
I will, a big book of multiple choice.
Yeah.
You want to respect your wife? That's great. If you don't want to, that's also great.
I want to know,
Very long.
but when they say submit to your husband, I mean, does that exactly mean that whatever he says goes, and if you're in defiance,
I've actually had a few friends who said like their parents have like the father has the last say.
Yeah.
My household's kind of like that, but
It just happens that the husband is a really nice guy and will take the wife's opinion into
that's
consideration.
kind of what it is. It's more like
It's
it's sort of like king and advisor kind of
Yeah.
thing.
But the thing is,
Like,
I still find that just as horrible because it's solely on the whim of the father. He could just wake up. He could wake up one day.
Like dictator, like no, that's wrong. I've never really seen my dad ever do that.
I know, but
My dad said that. My mom will have a fit.
this is why I don't like. I'm sure your parents have a lovely relationship, but I'm like, well, I'm not actually sure about that. But I'm assuming it is for sake of conversation.
Okay.
But there's the notion that your father could wake up one day, put on his beige sweater, get a bowl of Cheerios, and decide that it's time that like your mother is going to is going to be like, you are my footstool. You are like this is why I don't like that mentality being perpetuated.
Okay. Well, if that happened, like you said, my mom too would probably.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But there will be the case where there are women who will be like, all right.
Yeah.
I was raised in this mentality. It's just the last 20 years have been great, but now I'm going to be a footstool.
Some people are that weak-willed. Like, you're looking at it confused. Like some people.
No, there are people that
are that
Yeah.
weak-willed.
Some people clap that whatever he says goes.
It's really the definition of a pushover. You can poke them and they'll fall over.
You didn't have to poke them. You just like.
Well, then, just like,
You could tell on them. You could tell them to fall over and they'll fall over.
Yeah, exactly.
So there's definitely different degrees of submission.
I would agree.
There's people who just absolutely relinquish all control and fault over whatever goes on, and there are people who are who select certain things to follow. So it's really following something, not just a rule.
So I don't know, it seems like it goes a forking tree, because there's also complete submission, but it's unwillful submission. It's like, if I was suddenly teleported to, like, one of those, like, wherever. If
Victorian times, a little bit better.
Like, any particular time with, like, a draconian government, if I was teleported across Africa right now, I would do whatever the hell they tell me to. I don't care if I don't agree with it. I don't care if I don't if it's morally reprehensible. I would try my very best not to do it. But
and that's what we didn't touch on this whole time.
What?
Why people submit.
Oh.
Okay.
I mean, the last 10, 9 minutes.
It's good. It's a great thing to end on. We totally planned that.
So why do people submit? For safety,
Yes.
typically?
There's definitely a sense of...
Yeah, survival, like, for lack of a better option, sometimes, I would say.
Yeah, if you're in a situation where it's like, I'm going to do something, like, say something stupid. Pick these stones up and put them over there, or I will kill you. I'll be like, I'm going to pick the hell up out of those. You won't even remember that those rocks are over there. And then they'll be like, put them back over there. What the hell? I know where to go. I will do whatever they tell me to with the most upbeat attitude, because I do not want to die.
Amen.
It's a biological thing, like survival.
Yeah.
I will feign Stockholm syndrome and befriend these people to the highest degree, so I'll be able to get the hell away from them from one offenders.
They might make you join.
So for the people who are pushed over, do you feel like they would submit for survival, or?
No, I think
please. Okay.
Yeah, I think there's definitely the other one, the child indoctrination. If you're taught from when you're born that you have to, like, submit to your husband, whenever you get a husband, you are their slave, then that will get rooted in your mind. And it's really hard to break away from that. There are a good number of people that have, but they're like therapy out the wazoo to undo the programming.
Yeah.
But then I think like you were just saying, there is a degree. I completely forgot what you were saying, but I'm pretty sure it's accurate.
Submitting to what, like police people, I guess?
Yes, that one.
She gets a credit.
Yeah, very good. I agree. There is a degree of just like you don't. I remember when I was like in high school, I completely lost my whole slew of friends that I had like in middle school. They all moved, like half of them moved up to schools, and I basically lost half of the rest. So I'm like, I need new friends. So I basically just assimilated with another group of people. And to do that, half of it was kind of, actually literally, I sat at the same table as them, and every day I moved a little closer. And I became one of the group. It worked. It was wonderful. It worked perfectly. Anywho, it was. I remember saying that exact phrase one day.
So it's mostly survival, and it's also
no, but I was saying like there is a degree of like I laugh at their jokes. Like I go with the flow of the group and go like I find this stuff funny now. It's great. I willfully submit to the whims of the group, as long as it's not like morally horrible. Just so I have people around. And I totally understand how that goes to an extreme. Where you're just like, I will obey everything like my girlfriend says because I do not want to be without the girlfriend.
I know some guys like
That's so sad.
yeah. Male sycophancy is actually very.
It's like you know the term pussy whip?
Yes.
You also know the term mangina, simp.
I don't know what's that.
Simp, basically it's a portmanteau of the word sissy and pimp. It's a guy that thinks that he gets all the women, but he does so by getting into their every whim. It's like if he's with a girl and she says, I'm not going to be with you if I need a new pair of shoes, he'll go out and buy a pair of shoes just to get laid. It's all about getting laid with a lot of men.
That's why I'll just be like, you're a pushover and you're a whore. No, it's described exactly what you did. You just had sex for like shoes.
Yeah.
Then you are a prostitute.
That is legal prostitution.
No.
It is. If you had to take something out of your pocket and you had to submit to this woman in order for her to get in bed with you, it's legal prostitution. Just that she's in charge. That's the only thing.
And that's the thing that's hilarious. Is regardless of who it is, the person that's in charge, the person that's like on top, as it were, in the relationship is always seen to be in the right. Isn't that hilarious? Where it's kind of like, everyone's just like, why are you submitting to that guy? You really got to step up and do the right thing. No one ever goes like, stop being a douchebag. Stop making the girl have her submit to you. What's wrong with you? And it's especially if the person on top is a girl. Everyone's just everyone's like, yeah, she's being a powerful woman. It's like, no, she's being a douche.
Well, there's a weird thing, and I guess part of our culture is like, if whatever you're doing leads to you getting laid,
then it's right.
It's right.
And you should do it.
Pretty much.
So I think that's part of why people get away with like the whole man whore concept, where like the guy just sleeps with like a billion women and no one ever complains, and he's considered like the best man alive.
No, but see, there's a reason for that. If you have a key that opens many locks, if you have a lock that's opened by a lot of keys, it's an awful lock. I'm sorry.
And seven was that, by the way.
I consider them both just as gross.
Some feminists would.
But if I can get with a lot of guys, I think that
is our mentality in this society right now. Yeah.
It's like
that's the slut shaming double standard. So
even if you
see, I really don't care at this point.
Even if you've never done anything with them, people are going to be like, yeah, she's doing something wrong, guys. It's just an assumption that people.
No, that's a different argument too. Like a lot of people will.
It's like you don't want people.
Yeah. That's just part of it.
Why you have those?
Must be giving it up. All them guys quit coming back to her. And then if a guy's friends with a bunch of girls, like, well, he must be getting laid a lot, having all those girls around him.
No. You see, that's what doesn't happen.
Yeah, totally. It never happens.
People never say like, oh, he must be having sex with all of them, and that's why they all love him. It's like, no, he's gay.
It's not like, he's not gay, we're saying lots of sex. That's what people just automatically assume.
People submit
average people in the society.
submit to these roles.
Everyone submits the role. Oh, okay. So in the last 3 minutes, let's do that. What? Submitting to social standards. Let's go over that in the last 3 minutes.
Okay.
Take a fancy.
Let's take a fancy.
Basically, you're just giving up your soul to do whatever the heck somebody tells you to do. Without questioning it. It's the same as sheep, pretty much. You know, you like.
So would you say?
Like, say if I was a single fan to David, whatever David says, David goes. Even outside the scope of this group, like if he says, you know, Dante, this is this. Oh, I agree, David. I agree.
And that never happened.
So for submitting to rules, do you say like submitting to gender rules, like or gender stereotypes?
Oh, I threw out gender rules when I was like 14.
There's definitely.
Like right now,
You use a girl's bathroom, you use a girl's bathroom?
I didn't.
Well, that's illegal.
That was
That's
perfect.
illegal.
Actually, when I lived in Myers, I used one of the girls' bathrooms once completely by accident. I was on the wrong floor, and like it happened to be that I was actually in one of the stalls, and I looked down, I'm like, what the hell is that tiny trash can? Well, I'm embarrassed.
Actually, I used a guy's bathroom on purpose. Like,
Really?
I was on a guy's floor, I used a guy's bathroom.
Yeah, it feels like in mine they're all exactly the same. So it's like, anyway, the bathroom thing I'm not talking about. It's like, my nails are painted, I'm sitting in a very feminine way, and I love it. I don't care. It doesn't matter.
People still submit heavily to these traditional.
Would you wear a miniskirt and a tank top together?
That's not the same as getting rid of gender roles.
Just asking, would you?
I look horrible in a skirt, and tank tops are kind of comfortable.
Okay.
There's too much room in the front.
No, what is it? Tank tops don't have that much room.
We just totally jumped the shark.
That's hilarious.
Okay, just to throw it out there, I don't remember the last time I wore a skirt, and I don't think I've ever actually worn a tank top.
This is like something like, okay, I will willingly wear guys' clothes. I find them very comfortable.
Because they are comfortable. They're built to be comfortable.
Exactly.
Unlike
Yeah.
girls' clothes, they're not built to be comfortable.
But I'd say our gender roles don't allow for guys to wear.
Yeah, exactly. So,
If you were wearing the same thing I was wearing right now,
no one would care.
similar boots and this t-shirt and
No one would care.
No one would care.
but I wouldn't.
I guarantee if I was to put all this wrestling heels and stuff, people would have me like I'm insane.
Yeah.
I would high five the hell out of you.
But you have exceptions.
I'd be like, John, you look fantastic.
And I'll be like, what am I doing?
Like, it would be a high five across the face with the chairs.
By a lot of people, yes.
Yeah.
I would have zero problem with that.
I would usually get called a sinner, too.
Yes, you would. You'd also probably be called gay.
Yeah. There's, you know.
It's like, do you know what's actually funny? Most cross-dressers aren't gay.
Yeah.
That's true.
They're extremely heterosexual men.
That's strange.
Actually,
I honestly wouldn't expect that.
They are.
that's why I mean cross-dressing is not the same as being gay.
Oh, then again, probably my biggest exposure to cross-dressing was in Atlanta, though, so. Most of them never gay.
Most of the cross-dressers in Atlanta are gay. Email the ratio if you consider gay.
Or spam them on Facebook.
You intellectual! I'm going pretty!
Oh, man.
If you cross-dress and that's your thing, go crazy. You have my full support.
I have nothing against it. It's your business.
I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with cross-dressing. If you like something, you think it's good looking, it's going to look good on you.
I would personally rather see the woman with wearing. They know. They have to be in the general rules here.
Like, I don't care. I don't care.
No, I would agree with that, but on the basis of, I'm a big fan of that appearance isn't more for people. And I think women look better in women's clothing. I think it's
Really, you don't think I look amazing, like,
a beater and like
yeah.
some cargo shorts or something.
I don't think so.
You'd be okay.
See, that's the thing, though.
I wear super baggy pants, like, actually I did.
You look like you're...
Just don't say.
You have an orange face.
No, I did that. I wore boxers, I wore my sweatpants down to my thighs. I wore, like, the Air Jordans. I had a...
I think we jumped the shark.
There's a picture on Facebook.
If I wouldn't think you'd jump the shark, I think it's good instantly.
That's the point. That's the trope there.
Anyway, what was that?
We're done actually. So, submitting is a complicated and interesting subject. Please email us at drexfreethought@gmail.com. drexfreethought@gmail.com. With questions and comments, with the beginning of next week, we'll answer any questions that are given to us.
Please send us a question so we can actually answer.
Please don't send me hate now.
I'm very working now.
I get hate all the time on my YouTube page, so I don't care.
All right, that's enough for us for today. Have a good day, Internet.